Have you ever noticed when you call home seller leads, let's say they request a home valuation, they're super rude, confused, there's this massive wall between you and them, and it's impossible to communicate. Sometimes they act like they didn't even request a home valuation. So if that's the case, well, watch this till the end. I'm going to explain why that happens and why you get quote unquote low quality leads and what you can do about it. So why you get low quality leads? So number one, we got lead gen. Number two, we got backend. Okay, so first things first, the homeowner's perspective. Okay, so these guys have at least had one bad experience over the past 5 to 10 years, and so they are super skeptical. And to be honest, the same goes for you when you approach a marketing company and you've been burned like 5 times for the past 5 years after been like over promise and under deliver, whatever happened. And so now when you talk to another marketing company, or maybe you're watching this video, you're super skeptical, and that goes the same thing happens for these home owners. They're super skeptical when they talk to you and when you approach them, right? So number one, these guys have been like they haven't got the realtors that made them buy or sell, even if that was not the right decision. Maybe they bought a property for like whatever amount, and they discovered like some leaks, small things that cost them like whatever 30K in like renovation and stuff. Now they're trying to sell it. So, or either then kind of realtors should, call them like just to follow up, whatever. So sales communication, bad experience in that sense. And then, or either, bad photos on the MLS are more common than you think. Maybe that they try to sell with a realtor. They waited like 70 days. Their home stayed on the market for like 90 days because, the photos were bad, the marketing was ineffective, the pricing was completely messed up. All that crap happened, and now these guys are skeptical. They're skeptical because in their mind, all realtors are like that. I know you're not like that, but in their mind, like they view all realtors like you are, like you do, right? Now you think that all marketing companies are scam. And so these guys think that all realtors are a scam, right? So it's not about having a fancy Google My Business page. It's not about having like a fancy website with a cool logo and, a bunch of cool pictures. That's not going to help you out with skepticism, because these guys, like, it's about you. It's about your approach, the approach you have with them, and how you communicate with them when you talk to them, okay? So again, it's about what you do in your communication. You cannot change people, right? So instead of just this guy's skeptical, cool, you're gonna do anything about it. That's it. Like, I would say 98% of homeowners have had at least one bad experience over the past 5 to 10 years, either when they bought a property, when they sold the first property, whatever happened, they've had at least one, right? And so they are skeptical, and that's it. There's not much you can do about it, right? But when you like go and say, hey, like, let's try to have this fancy website, or let's try this new mind-blowing lead gen tactic, or this more gimmick, you're not solving the core problem. The core problem is that, again, these guys are skeptical. If you're going on like whatever platform, new platform without competition, doesn't matter. These guys are still skeptical. It's not like you have a competition. It's like these guys don't trust you when you talk to them, right? So you got to build that trust. And that's why you get low quality leads. It's not about low quality in and of itself. It's about how these guys react when you try and engage in a conversation with them. And so when they hang up on you, right, you think, hey, like, these guys are low quality, right? I'm not saying it's all about trust, but trust plays a big part. I'm not like, I don't know if anybody's talking about this. Like, usually people just go, hey, like, just try this new platform, just try this conversion thing. And yes, sure, those are important, but trust plays a big role. So is why other brands, like, after talking to hundreds of agents, I noticed a trend. Nowadays, after almost all agents have been more or less one by lead gen companies, but I was saying before, like, the same happened for these home sellers. Same goes for you, same goes for them, whatever, right? So some of them now think that if they're going to try again, it must be totally different. It must be like this new gimmick, this new little secret like platform or tactic or whatever, right? But they think they need to reinvent the wheel to find success. But from what I found out, there's no gimmick. There's no like reinventing the wheel. Top performers in your area are just really doing the same thing but they stick to what works. They master it. They nailed it. Like they really nail it. And then they that's why they're successful. And they're also consistent with it, right? And so if it didn't work for you, for whatever happened, that doesn't mean it doesn't work. The only thing that's true is that it didn't work for you, and so you should analyze and think, okay, why this didn't work for me while other clients got results for this company? Or maybe if nobody got results, well, maybe like what happened, what they did wrong, what could be improved here, right? Instead of blaming people, like just try to go and think, okay, here's what went wrong, here's what I can do better next time. If you want to do it yourself, if you want to try it yourself without anybody helping you out, just go, hey, they tried this, didn't work, what went wrong, what went bad, like what went wrong, what went well, let's just double down what went well, right? And that's how we go about. Basically, you try a thing, you get feedback, and then you adjust the action you do. And that is this infinite cycle Sam Ovens, founder of School.com, always talks about, right? So we tried other debates, right? Because some people now think that this home valuation, whatever, doesn't work anymore. It's just people see it all the time. If people like see that all the time, it doesn't mean like, it's not like you have to surprise these homeowners and like, hey, like this is my blowing ad, I'm gonna click on it and sell my property tomorrow. It's not like the goal is not to impress these guys. So you should not think that way, like in terms of like, what can I do different? Because again, these guys don't care. They just want a really good home valuation to see if it makes sense for them to sell now or wait like 3 months or whatever, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 2 years, whatever, right? Depending on the context and on the situation, right? So the goal is not to impress them. We try out debates like guides, right? Guys, we're getting guys saying, hey, like I just want the guide, right? And again, there's a way to make the guides work, but to be honest, what we found out is that the home valuation is the closest thing, right, to them saying literally to you, I want to sell. Is then they're just saying to themselves, I want to see how much home is worth, and if it makes sense, I'm gonna sell in X time frame. And inside, if you go and play and watch like our video about conversion mechanism, I also talk about how we filter out people if they're going to sell in more than 6 months, for example, right? So now, I mean, let's say you got this skeptical homeowners, right? And how do you go about filtering them out so you don't waste time on bad people? And how do you lower their guards down before you talk to them? I would say that's the most important part, okay? So number one, you got to pre-frame your approach and get your foot in the door. Number two, you got to differentiate yourself. But, I'm going to explain in what, like not just with the different cool creative with the different set of colors, right? I'm going to explain what I mean by that later, right? And then I'm going to talk about the value equation, right? The Alex Hormozi value equation. Nobody in this world is in real estate. Like, I believe this common sense in other niches. In real estate, this might be something more uncommon, right? So when it comes to like pre-framing your approach and getting your feet in the door, like first thing, like the first thing I want you to fix is your offer. Because if you're offering something quick, like, hey, get a quick 1 minute home valuation, what you're gonna get is you're gonna get people who are looking for something quick. And usually those are the same guys who are not looking to sell in like 3 months, 6 months. They're looking to sell like years because they're looking for something quicker, because they're playing around with their friends. You have to imagine, like, when these guys are scrolling around social media, like their intent is not that high. If they don't book a time on your calendar either, or they don't respond to the AI, if you set it out correctly, if you don't have an AI right now, just go and watch my previous video about conversion mechanism. By the way, what I'm saying is that if they're not responsive, if they don't watch your stuff, if they don't open anything, like, maybe like that's the thing is that your offer is broken, because these guys are just scrolling, right? Then they click on it, they get evaluation quick just for fun. They see this range from a bond, they wonder, hey, like what yeah cool, bye. They don't want to sell. So what you want to do is add friction, add qualification. Again, that's my mantra, that add friction, add qualification, right? So, and that's to avoid attracting bad people, right? So because the offer is fundamentally broken, the only people interested in something quick will be often tire kickers. You cannot rely on an American-based ISA to filter these leads. Because again, if the offer is broken, you can get 1,000 people in, but if the offer is broken, you're just trying to, like, you're not fixing the core issue. You're just trying to filter leads, but these leads are broken because the offer is broken, right? It's attracting bad people. You can, and then you have to hire like 10 ISAs to call them, but these guys are like a bit about, they're not that good and anything, so you might get 1 out of 1,000, whatever, right? So hiring an ISA is not it's not gonna fix the quality. Like, if you just smash it down and just generate 1,000 leads, just because you have an ISA doesn't mean you're gonna get listings, right? If the offer is broken, okay? Second, I see most people perceive landing pages as like website, and I guess you know this, Russell Brunson, CEO of ClickFunnels, like founder of ClickFunnels, whatever. Like, I guess who who he is. If you don't, just Google, his name. Very, very, very important figure and very important, person in the realm of marketing. But yeah, one thing he seizes behind ClickFunnels is that websites don't work anymore. And his thesis is that, hey, have you ever got a deal from a business card? Well, maybe like one or two, but website is like a business card. It's like you're showcasing these beautiful listings you just sold. But think about it, like a home seller. Do you think they care about how many homes you sold over the past 15 days and seeing this cool photo? Like, yes, maybe they're saying, hey, like, these homes like look great. I like the photos. These guys are not like displaying like bad photos on portals. Cool. But they don't care if you like, they don't care about a lot of stuff, a lot of crap you put on your website, right? And so when it comes to landing pages, see a lot of people do the mistake of like including like so much stuff in it, like just so full of stuff. When in reality, what they're doing with clients is there's just this form. Takes a while to complete, but there's just a form and that's it. You don't want to distract these guys with a bunch of stuff, right? And so again, fancy logo, cool background, that's not gonna get you a listing. That they don't care. Again, all they care about is see if it makes sense to sell the property and see, hey, which one of these realtors actually best fit for me. And they don't care about the fancy background or logo or whatever. Okay. So then one thing we do instead of landing pages is also we add if then statements. So your CPL, cost per lead, and also cost per transaction, right? So you got to learn about this. If you want to do something yourself, try out something yourself to get these leads and not something like pay per closing, Zillow, Realtor.com, whatever. You got to start learning about this stuff, right? So cost per lead is basically how much you pay for each lead you get. A lead is not a transaction. Lead is just somebody who gave you like his phone, email, whatever info you require. And a cost per transaction is, how much you paid for, to get one deal out of this like, lead gen thing you're actually spending your money on, right? So what I'm saying is that, again, your CPL using these if-then statements, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, but your CPL will become slightly higher, but your cost per transaction will decrease, right? Because you're filtering out people based off their answers on your quiz, right? And here, note on cost, I took some notes here. So note on cost, what I mean by that is that one thing you want to start thinking, like, this is one big myth in this space, that cost per lead is, if you got high cost per lead, bad. Low cost per lead, good. That's wrong. Because what you need to care about is cost per appointment, number one. That's the first metric. Cost per appointment, how many appointments you're getting. Because again, you might still need some reps with these picky home sellers, and maybe you miss some deals because your listing presentation was not that great, and you didn't go there and deliver the listing packet with a letter and with a gift, and that was all messed up, and so maybe that's why you didn't get a deal. So maybe like first months, your cost per transaction will be a bit higher, but that doesn't mean like, the ads are doing wrong if the cost per appointment is low, right? So what I mean by that is that, hey, number one, put cost per appointment. Number two, you're gonna put cost per transaction. Number three, cost per lead. Cost per lead is still good. Like it's not like a junk metric. It's not like you can ignore cost per lead if you're getting leads for $120. Well, maybe it depends on the platform. Maybe you're doing something wrong, right? But what I'm saying is that if you're getting a cost per lead that's a bit higher after testing this if-then statements here, but your cost per appointment decrease, well, then I guess you already know it does make sense to do that, right? So if the statements are basically, let's say a lead says, hey, I'm going to sell in more than 6 months, boom. Says that we don't want people who are going to sell in more than 6 months, filter out. If they say they're not the homeowner, but just a friend who was curious about the value, boom, filter out, right? So that way, you're already like removing a lot of junk from the system because you already feel disqualifying people before they can put their name, email, phone number, and address, and before you have to go through the whole like set of information, right? Whatever they gave to you, right? So again, now, not only there's friction because it takes time to complete this thing, they're side off like the ad, they click on this and that takes time, and maybe they get disqualified, whatever. But you're also able to detect time wasters without even calling them. So that's amazing because you're saving money. Otherwise, you'll be spending on ISAs and you're saving a lot of time. Okay, so now when it comes to differentiating yourself, one note, I'm not going to go too deep on this during this video, but I just want to say stop posting like just listed posts on social media, okay? Your sellers, these homeowners don't care about that. They don't care about how many homes you sold over the past 30 days. You sold like 3-4 homes. If your post looks good, they don't care, right? They don't really care. So I would say stop posting those because, they just don't generate anything and you're just wasting some time. And also you look like everybody else because everybody's posting just listed posts, under contract, just sold. Maybe you got something from it. I don't know. I never heard anybody who got anything from this post. If you did, well, I want to correct myself. I apologize. But typically, I don't see anybody getting that much of attention and actually deals out of this post. So just a waste of time then. And we content, the biggest mistake, especially real estate. Real estate is the, if let's say we're talking about like niches, right? It could be low ticket offer, high ticket offer. Real estate is like the biggest like high ticket offer out there, right? Because you're getting people to sell their property with you. Like that's super high ticket. Like that's the biggest move of their life, right? So if you want to get somebody to trust you to sell the property, you cannot act like you're a little dude with an e-commerce store posting a bunch of shorts to attract people to buy their $20 product on their e-commerce Shopify store. Like it's just so different, right? So with these homeowners, yes, you can post a bunch of shorts. They don't hurt, but they don't actually help you that much. I'm not saying don't post anything, otherwise you're going to look weird on social media. But what you can do is just focus your attention on building equity on the platform where you can provide the most value and when these guys can go and spend hours with you. And that platform is YouTube, my guys. Because if you go there and you post like hours of content, imagine a homeowner is binging your content. Can you see how easy it's gonna be to go there? He already binged hours of content. He trusts you. Now, you can go there with your listing presentation, close the deal. Not close the deal, of course, it's not really so, but at least get him to list with you, right? Go to the listing appointment, crush it, but he already trusts you. So you're essentially, it's almost like already done, right? And imagine like hundreds of homeowners binging your content. You don't need like 1,000 subscribers. You just need like even like 2 homeowners binging your content. You're gonna get 2 deals, like $30K in GCI after from like a bunch of hours spent filming content. That's a crazy ROI, right? So when dealing with homeowners, long form is the way. And again, trust is sitting on all-time low nowadays, not just with homeowners in general, right? So a 30-second long video won't do the job. The more hours they spend with you before the appointment, the more they trust you. That's why content, but not just visual, education is so important. These guys are learning the pitfalls, the mistakes people make when selling the property, and at the same time, they're being sold on why they should sell with you because you're so good at explaining this stuff and your content is so good and they're learning a bunch of stuff nobody's talking about. They want to sell with you. They like you. You want them over their brother or their cousin or whatever, because now they think you can get a better price and better advice rather than the brother who just, does a bunch of transactions a year just for fun, and real estate is just real estate part-time, right? So no matter the subscribers, like I said, you'll be a trusted audience who's going to list with you once they're ready, right? So again, the goal is not to get one listing tomorrow. Real estate, your mindset when you're approaching these programs, leads, and even like if you want to work with us, it's not short term. It's not like you come in and you get 10 listings tomorrow. Real estate is a long, like you gotta focus on long term. My realtor Jake, like 3 to 5 transactions a month. Some months like close like 8, right? One thing he always is keen on is just focusing on like building this, planting the seeds every single day. You're planting seeds. Till then, you get a listing. Maybe like you planted this seed like 6 months ago, and now like since 6 months ago, you were already planting the seeds to make sure you were gonna succeed in like 6 months later. That's what I'm talking about, right? That's the mindset you want to have when you approach with lead gen. Not just I'm gonna get one listing to respond, or it's a failure, or I'm a failure, or this thing it doesn't work. You gotta be patient. You gotta wait for this like snowball effect, right? Does that make sense? So one thing you could also do is hire somebody to write a year-long email sequence. Buy HomeBot. Right? HomeBot is an amazing tool to nurture these homeowners. Every month they're gonna get an updated value of the property. Buy HomeBot costs like $25. So like it's dirt cheap. You buy it, you get these homeowners in the system, and every month they're gonna receive an updated value from you. That's gonna be amazing. That could be a big tool in your arsenal, right? So now we cover a bit on how to differentiate yourself. So let's talk about how you can get your feet in the door. So when you just run a bunch of ads with a home valuation, then redirect this lead to a calendar, you're wasting money. And it's not about how many people are doing that specifically. It's about the fact that they don't know who you are. To be honest, imagine you going on Facebook, you're clicking on an ad. Do you actually remember the name of the person advertising and the name of the company running ads? No, you don't care. You just opted in. You don't even remember. It was like 3 hours ago, right? So one thing, make sure you watch the other video where I talk about calling every single lead after 5 minutes, right? But if you don't do that, use luck in it, whatever you're doing. You want to make sure people actually remember about your name, right? Otherwise, you're gonna call these guys, hey, like this is John here from Keller Williams. These guys, with their mind, they're skeptical. They hear a realtor say, oh no, this guy's just not interested. I didn't request anything. Bam. That's why you're getting low quality leads, not because these guys don't want to sell. They're going to sell with another realtor in 2 months just because their approach was better. Fact is that these guys don't know you. When you call them, too much is going on in their mind. They're not even listening to what you're saying. They're just saying, click. They're just thinking, I want to get off the phone. That's why you really got to nail down your approach, right? So to avoid this, right, having a pre-call video is the key. It can be short. It can be 10 minutes. It can be 1 to 2 minutes, whatever. Having a pre-call video, what I'm talking about here is a video where they watch this thing before you give them a call, before you send them a text, whatever, right? So what matters is that, of course, the video is like 10 minutes. Don't call them after 5 minutes. Of course, this is obvious, but I got to specify this. Otherwise, people are not going to understand, right? So what matters is that you explain exactly what you're going to do next, number one. So you're going to have to calling, texting, showing up, whatever. So if you're going to drop your packet without even calling them, you're going to say that. If you're going to call them, as soon as they finish watching the video, you're going to say that. So now they expect that. They expect your move, right? They know what's going on. So when they, and one note, with our system, and I'm sure there's a way to do it, right? With basically every number, there is a way to have instead of having just a number, have your business ID to show up as the caller ID, right? So for example, let's say your name is like Kevin Smith. You're gonna have like, instead of receiving a call from like 818 and bunch of numbers, it's gonna be comment from Kevin Smith. Right? Imagine if they would just watch the video about Kevin talking about how he's going to give them a call. And now they know, hey, Kevin is going to give me a call. Boom. They answer, they open up because they're not like skeptical. Yes, they're skeptical, but they know what's going on. It's not like their guards are so up now, right? And so you're going to explain exactly what you're going to do next. Then you're presenting yourself, so now they remember about you. And also you give them a reason to pick up the phone that is so important. Don't just tell them, hey, I'm gonna call you. Boom. Tell them, hey, I'm gonna call you. Not only to give you something accurate, not just those, random ranges you can get from like Zestimate or whatever. I'm gonna call you to give you something accurate, right? And also, this is a great opportunity to get, info for free about the market in your area, right? So now they're gonna be a little more, let's hear what this guy wants from me, right? Let's see what he wants to talk about, right? So, and then make sure the quality is decent. I guess you know this, but I saw some videos I filmed from like old phone or whatever. The quality is not important. It's not that much important, to be honest. Again, these guys don't care about fancy stuff. They're just some homeowners. Okay, if you're selling luxury real estate, yeah, they might look at that. If you're selling around the average home price in your market, you shouldn't worry that much about like having a super fancy camera or anything like that, right? They care about the message and your tonality and the way you're communicating with them throughout this entire video, right? So after a pre-call video, from day one, you give them a resource. Send them your best content and actually put in the work to talk to them. So this is so important. You can do whatever, but if you don't put in the work to get those 24 touch points dialed in before you talk, before you hang on and give up, this is not going to work. And I know 24 might seem a lot. Watch my other video and I'm going to explain how to get 24 touch points during the first 7 days without sounding salesy, okay? So if you don't call them, doesn't matter how skeptical they are, reaching them is the very first prerequisite. So here I'm talking about advanced stuff, right? To avoid getting quote unquote low quality leads. But if you don't call these guys, you just have one touch point. I know you call these guys twice. They don't pick up the phone. They don't respond to your text. You think, hey, this is a low quality lead. Let me just slack in. Yeah, I'm not going to waste the time on it. And then 2 months later, he signed the contract with another realtor. How many times this happened to you? Or at least it's going to happen. It's normal, right? If you don't put it in the work, please just focus on your touch point, focus on your leading indicators before blaming the lead quality. One thing, my belief system is that every lead, who goes through our system, goes through the entire thing, takes time to get evaluation, right? And takes minutes, watches the video, is consuming our content, right? Every lead who requested a home valuation is technically a quality lead because they want to sell. And it's our job, right, to not trigger their anger, them being pissed off that we call them and they're hanging up on us. When they hang up, it's not about them, it's about the way what you said, oftentimes. Right? In the beginning, I used to call my clients leads. They were always hanging up because I had a bad tonality, bad approach. They were not even talking to the realtors. They were even more skeptical. So that's why you gotta take a better, do a good job when you're recruiting your ISAs. Otherwise, this guy's gonna be their skepticism is gonna go through the roof, right? This is gonna go to the roof because now they're not even talking. They're not talking to a realtor. They're talking to an ISA. The tone is bad. Looks weird. Bam, clicked. Right? So again, if you don't have a system to make sure it's unreasonable, that you don't reach them, go back to my previous video. I'm gonna put this here. 7. The way how we convert 18.3% of home sale leads. Watch that. It's 40 minutes. It's gold. Make sure you watch it, you master that, and then you come back here and you also master what you're gonna do next, okay? Quick, I'm gonna give you 3 actionable steps before I go. So number 1, master your conversion mechanism. Make sure that's good, right? Getting all your touch points, they're getting the text messages, they're getting the emails, they're opening the emails. If not, make sure the subject lines start get them. I would say get at least 50% open rates. I don't know, real estate might be a bit higher, to be honest, because these homeowners might be reading their emails at night, or when they don't know what to do, they may open their emails to just read them. So open rate might be a bit higher in real estate. So when it comes to long form, start posting long form content. So I'll say once a month, start with YouTube, start post like a small like thing, but start getting in the habit of like recording good valuable content. And lastly, register a pre-call video. If you're already spending money on ads, that's gonna be the best way to get the most out of every single dollar you're currently already spending on ads. So that's it for this video. One thing you can do if you want help from us and you want us to do this for you, so you don't have to think about it or worry about this, just click on the link below, just go to our site, watch a bunch of case studies, watch a bunch of stories. And also, if you didn't watch it, watch my video about conversion mechanism. That's gonna massively help you get less low quality leads. That's it for this video, and I'll see you inside our next video.